I asked them to make me a vest. It was a bulletproof Louis Vuitton vest.
In the beginning, Dap's customers are local drug dealers like AZ.
I had a van, and I wanted a Gucci wheel cover to ask Dap, and he made it happen for me.
We do tire covers for Jeeps, and everybody wants their own statement written on the back of the Jeep.
Okay, if I'm not allowed to go down to Gucci on Fifth Avenue, I'm gonna take that logo and I'm gonna assign it to myself. I am this new crack generation. I make money. Reagan tried to circumvent who I was. It didn't work. Now, I may have killed some of my own to get there, but I'm here now. No apologies, no excuses. Give me my Gucci.
Pretty soon, rappers start waiting outside to see what the hustlers are wearing when they leave the store.
That fashion that my man Dap brought to the streets, I was one of the first rappers to bring it to the entertainment business, but I was doing what the streets was doing, man.
Dap styles everyone. Eric B. and Rakim, Salt and Pepper, Run DMC, MC Light, Biz Marquee, The Fat Boys, Big Daddy Kane, Boogie Down Productions, and LL Cool J.
That was all part of the game and identifying like, oh, you coming up, you doing your thing.
As the growing rap scene in New York adopts this style rooted in the crack culture, the focus shifts to the hoods of LA, where gangs are spreading. And this new equation of street capitalism and crack is about to produce a new form of hip-hop that will revolutionize the industry.
You put the dot on your target, then you blow the out the mother.
In the hoods of LA where I grew up, crack is spreading all through the early 80s along with hip-hop. This is the era of the big ballers. And nobody is bigger than Freeway Ricky Ross, who by the mid-80s has become like the Walmart of crack in LA.
Freeway Rick out here in Los Angeles was the guy.
What's up, young Dale?
What's up, Rick?
I went from buying what we used to call an 8-track, which was 3 grams, to buying 100 kilos at a time.
When Freeway first starts out, it takes him a week to flip those 100 keys. Now he can do it every day, and the money he makes is crazy.
My property was probably worth like $8 to $10 million. Anything I wanted to do, I just did it. So I would go to Aspen, Colorado, 3-4 times a year.
Freeway buys up houses, businesses, a record label, even a movie theater, but manages to stay off the radar of the LAPD.
This guy was on so big of a level, but you never saw it. It was like a myth that you heard about.
In the game, it's always about your connect.
I was getting my drugs from a group of guys that were from Nicaragua. They had drugs cheap and in abundance.
Freeway drops prices, hooks up a lot of people in the game, and operates his rock houses like fast food chains.
I can remember when crack cocaine used to empower homies like us as jobs, like McDonald's. From 9 to 5, that was your shift. Or you go and you work the dope house. That's what you did. Your mother knew you did it, your grandmother, your kids, and they would come by and get lunch money after school.
Everybody was in the gang one way or another. Grandmothers, grandfathers, and the gangs got involved too. They started selling.
I was raised to be a gang member. I was raised to sell dope. I was raised to do everything. But you see, it's you.
Why were you raised?
Because this is the population that we in,
Everybody's a product of their own environment. You're going to do what is being done around you. Like, we was young. We watched the guys older than us doing their thing. We want the money, too.
There's been Crips and Bloods since the early 70s. What crack does is multiply and divide the scene up into more than 300 sets and 50,000 gangbangers. It spreads them out everywhere and sets them off against each other.
There's not a black gang in the city or the county that's not involved in narcotics. So, it's hand in hand.
The teenage Snoop Dogg is a member of the Rolling 20s Crips.
My teenage years with me selling crack and having relationships with my homeboys and getting in shootouts, getting beat up, beating people up, getting my drugs stole from me, doing all types of scandalous activities, getting in the mix. All of that was fun to me because I was young and I was thinking that I ain't gonna live to see 21 anyway, so I might as well live it all the way up.
Be Real belongs to 89th Street neighborhood family Bloods.
The crack was so easy to get rid of that the money was like a floodgate. And with that comes rivalry.
The killing today is not over who will control the neighborhood turf, but who will control the neighborhood cocaine.
Now you have firefights between drug dealers, and when you got money, you can afford better weapons.
Drug money has turned street gangs into small armies.
Now you got a Uzi, a MAC-10, or eventually what the standard was AKs.
You'd begin hearing that rat-a-tat-tat sound, where people would have open gun battles over corners.
61-13-861 drive-by shooting just occurred. One victim down, 5318 South Main.
Here you go. This guy's got about 4 pints of blood laying on the sidewalk.
Innocent people got shot. Little kids are getting hit.
Melinda Johnson was just 15 when she was murdered. The victim of a random shooting by street gang members in South Central Los Angeles.
You know, when I was living that particular lifestyle with the gangs and slanging, we were in another neighborhood who was friendly to us, like affiliates. You know, we ran into their rivals on the corner. We all start throwing up our gang signs to each other. One of the guys in the back seat hands the other guy the rifle. Shot at me 3 times, and the last one ricocheted off the wall and came into my back here. My left lung totally collapsed, and I fell right there on the ground. My friends rushed me over to Martin Luther King Hospital.
IV in both arms. Right arm's a 14-gauge one.
The emergency room was packed. Rival gangs, everything.
He's shot in the right thigh, in the right distal.
There was this guy next to me with a shotgun wound to his stomach. He was crying so loud that I started to freak out, like, oh my God, what the is going on in here? And that's when the police came to take me out to ask me the questions. So where are you from, homeboy? What do they call you? Let's see your tattoos. Now I'm bleeding through my lungs, spitting up blood on the floor, and they're like grabbing my arms, looking at whatever tattoos that I might have, totally not giving a whether I'm dying or not, you know? But that's what it is, man. They look at you like you're the enemy. And you are.
Okay, that's not necessary, man.
Nothing brings down the heat of LAPD on your hood more than crack, gangs, and guns.
There was a meanness, and there was a confrontational attitude to the police. They were like asking for a fight. That's the impression I got. And when I knew more about Daryl Gates, that kind of engagement was a big part of his philosophy.
We do have a war here on gangs, and we're going to continue that war until it's finished.
Maybe you can sum up LA Police Chief Daryl Gates in one single word: batarang.
Daryl Gates introduced a tank to roll through American neighborhoods, destroying people's houses in this pursuit of individuals in the crack trade.
Police drove it into battle this week, smashing a gaping hole into a suspected rock house.
Nancy Reagan, in this really famous event, rode shotgun.
Went through my face. Oh my God, man, why you my family and everything is depressed? Why look at my car?
Crack cocaine was used as an excuse to justify this militarization of the police force.
You see how it is yourself. Somebody could have actually got killed.
If you don't want this battering ram to come through your house, don't deal dope.
I mean, when I first heard about the battering ram, you know, I go over there and I'm looking, I'm like, wow, look what they done rigged up. So we moved all our houses upstairs.
And Mr. Rockman, you better stop someday. Hang it up, homeboy, your house will pay.
One of my homies, Toddy T, made a song about the batarang, which was one of the biggest songs in the 80s.
The batarang.
Toddy T captures the whole underground crime thing that was already bubbling in LA, and it makes a big impact on me. By 1986, I've given up my hustle for the rap game.
6 in the morning, police at my door. Fresh Adidas squeak across the bathroom floor. Out my back window, take my escape. Didn't even get a chance to grab my old school tape.
6 in the morning probably was one of the most powerful gangster rap songs ever. About a dope dealer on the move, his come up.
Got a knot in my pocket weighing at least $1,000. Gold on my neck, my pistol's close in hand.
He really sped us up to where we would start sleeping with one eye open now, because we knew they would probably be coming at 6 in the morning.
Word.
Most cats that were in the gangbanging world or drug dealing never talked about the stuff that we did. But here the rappers were, and they were being the voice for that particular group of people.
We make our records based on stuff that's happening where we live, you know. And people out there that don't like it, them.
NWA probably had a bigger impact than anybody when it came to the gangster rap music and the West Coast lifestyle, because they were talking about the police, they were talking about the boys in the hood that were slanging dope.
NWA's unfiltered stories of crack, gangs, and street violence unleash a firestorm of controversy. The media labels it gangster rap, but it sells millions of records.
They were like the Harlem Globetrotters. And we wanted to do everything that they were doing because they represented what cool was.
Obviously, you guys must know a little bit of something of what you're talking about. What is your background?
Killings, robbery, everything. The whole 9 yards. Dope dealing, everything. Everything you hear on our records is true.
We knew Eazy-E was a drug dealer.
The word on the street is that it's drug money that finances Eazy-E's new label, Ruthless Records.
The crack game was money, and the natural transformation was buying a record label.
Crack basically funded hip-hop. We all have the same story.
The success of our raw tales from the hood sends a message to all the young hustlers out there. This is a way to tell your story and get paid in the process. Gangster rap will blow up nationwide, just as the spread of crack, gangs, and guns brings down the full weight of the new drug war.
See this cute little vial here? It's crack, rock cocaine, the most addictive form. You think it's the glamour drug of the 80s? Well, that's the point of this friendly little reminder. It can kill you.
In the next few months, the motion picture industry and theater owners will be bringing you a series of messages like the one you just saw. I don't think anybody will miss the point.
In 1987, the President and Nancy Reagan enlist Hollywood in their war on drugs.
These little vials of chemical garbage have a nasty habit of killing people.
Crack can kill you. Dead.
Every time you do it, every single time, you risk ending up on a slab in the morgue.
You're laying your life on the line for a 10-minute high.
If anyone offers you some, tell them where to shove it.
Look, everybody wants to be cool, but doing it with crack isn't just wrong. It could be dead wrong.
But the kids of the crack generation are hardly gonna listen to Clint or Pee Wee.
I was making so much money, that was the only vision in my mind was the money. My clothes was looking nice, I had a car.
When you come from nothing, and you have opportunity to turn nothing into something, you want to make it the best run that you can make it.
When you're selling drugs, you start to feel invincible. You know, I started to feel that I was the guy created to sell cocaine, and that I was the greatest cocaine seller ever. And that was my job.
Business is booming, and Freeway Rick is at the top of his game, helping to spread crack across the country.
A year and a half ago, the DEA was finding crack in only 7 cities. Now, crack is showing up in more than 40 cities.
Well, people would come from other cities to get it. You know, they would come out to visit their families, and they would see what was going on. They would be like, wow, can we get this in our town? It was kind of like exporting a business almost, or exporting a product.
When I first started as Public Enemy and touring the country, you start seeing other cities like Dallas, St. Louis, 88. It was like New York in 85.
Police raiding another crack house in Des Moines, Iowa, the epitome of middle America.
I've lived here for about 40, 50 years. Never thought it would come to that.
city by city, this white tornado was swirling on, just wiping out Black America.